What up, virtual people? Welcome to episode 89 of VCR Redux. We take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2023. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink.
How you doing, everybody?
And we have two radical guests on the show tonight. First up, the third leg of our VCR tripod himself. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. Mac Daddy Mickey Torres is back on the show.
What's up, everyone?
And Jersey-based musical tour de force, who you may recognize from the Trustkill Records band Crash Romeo, whose newest music video for Your Name Here is available on YouTube now. Steve Anderson is back on the show.
Hi, thank you for having me back.
Thank you so much for coming back. We are here today to bust out the thinking couch, play some backyard baseball, and to learn CPR in French class. That's right, folks. This world needs Honey, I Shrunk the Kids 4, Small Wonder, and we're here to give it to you. But before we can break out the Zelensky shrink ray, we need to talk about how Honey, I Shrunk the Kids came into our lives and what we love about it. And of course, that includes everyone watching in the live chat as well. Is it Love at First Laserdisc, Vital VHS? Hit us up in the chat and let us know how Honey, I Shrunk the Kids came into your lives. So, Steve, do you remember the first time?
Time out. You look like the Terminator went into the back of the bar and never came back out.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be fair, I'm wearing sunglasses today. I woke up 2 days ago with a mystery black eye. I don't know what happened. I must have kicked the shit out of myself in my sleep or something. I don't know. I'm disgusted with myself, so I don't know what happened. I look even worse without these glasses on right now.
It's like you came back in time. You tried to find Sarah Connor. You gave up after the first door knock that they weren't there, and you just went straight to the bottle. Like,
I'm really what the Terminator should have looked like in T3 after he said talk to the hand. Like from that point on, he should have just dressed like this. Like
it's more like the director from the porn parody of that movie.
You know what? I kind of consider that a compliment. So thank you, Mickey. At any rate, before we shrink the size of our audience any further,
I came back in time for you.
I came back in time for one man and one man only, and that man is ravishing Rick Moranis. So while we're on the topic,
take my money for any movie Rick Moranis does.
Absolutely.
I dare one of you, even in our comments, to give me a bad Rick Moranis movie. And Mickey, shut up.
One.
Are you going to be that guy? Is Mickey going to finally be the Ian of VCR Redux?
Is that it? Is it Big Bully?
Someone has to take the Sourpuss title for at least 1 week. It can't just be all Ian every week.
No, Big Bully is genius, but My Blue Heaven, A+,
that's great. A+. That's great. That's a great movie. That's a movie I'd rather be
Streets
talking
of
about.
Fire, A++.
A+,
Little Shop of Horrors, A++.
Okay. Parenthood, Ron Howard's best fucking movie. A+++++.
Little Giants.
Little Giants.
Wow.
Little
Don't
Giants.
You dare, Mickey. Little Giants is everything.
It's a
the
great
father
movie.
of Icebox.
It's Any Given Sunday, but without the drugs and good.
In the stories of fathers and their children, there's like Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, Rick Moranis and Icebox. You know, it's really the two tales are as fucking big as it gets. But at any rate, before all that, before he was Little Giant, before he was in Parenthood, he was just a crazy crackpot motherfucker shrinking up kids in his attic. So I have to ask you, do you remember the first time you watched the masterpiece that is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
As great as this movie is, I don't think I was much of a honey shrunker when I was a kid. I don't remember, like, I don't maybe theaters. I want to say I had to have seen it in theaters, but I do not remember.
The verbiage of that sounds like something you get arrested for in like Ohio. What did you get arrested for? Honey shrunken.
Honey shrunken.
When I stopped at the gas station for some pizza.
I have no good story.
Pizza, I honey shrunk the crap out of that pizza. Like, it's just
honey shrunking sounds like exposing yourself to bees or something. Like, you know, like this man was arrested for honey shrunking. Like,
it also reminds me of like honeycombs for some reason too.
What?
Wow, yeah, I remember honeycombs.
The cereal.
We were just dead on topic like a laser today. I love it. We were just like laser focused on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
So Steve saw it in movies.
Impossible for us to drift off. So Steve's not much of a honey shrinker.
Do you see what Chris did with that though? Laser on point. Glasses, you smooth criminal, you.
I don't know. Wow. Something just went over my head. But so all right, you know,
man doesn't even get it.
I don't even really get it. No, you'll have to explain. You have to write me a map to get to the punchline on that joke.
Hello.
I didn't have enough coffee today, although I did have some. Thank you, Steve. Mickey, first time, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I'm guessing you didn't like it based on
movies. I saw the first two in the movies.
Yeah. The first two in the movies. We talking dates, double dates? You know, come on, Mickey Torres, give us some details.
Innocent little like school dates, like basically like, you know, what else are you gonna do but go to the movies, go see a movie?
Did you straight up handhold like the whole time?
Probably, or got the arm around or whatever case.
Arm around. Whoa. That's why they call him Mac Daddy, folks.
The old yawn and reach.
Yeah. No, I never did the yawn and reach. I would just be like, it's
too smooth for that.
Just do it or like that.
Oh, that's adorable.
Maybe start off with like a joke or something like that, and then just be like, hey.
Well,
all right. Ian, what fucking hobo gas station did you watch this in?
Wow. No, this was Maynard, Iowa. This is one of the kids VHS tapes my grandma Martha had gotten. She was here's why I love this woman. All right, she was one of the first members to ever do one of those 6 movies for a penny clubs, where you got 6 VHSs for like 1 penny.
And they had cassettes. They did CDs.
Yeah,
eventually.
do y'all remember those? Yeah, do you remember?
Oh
yeah.
I always thought they were like some kind of Ponzi scheme. Like somehow, then they
well, you would make them like
that.
Like, you would fill out different names every time and different addresses.
But grandma would get all sorts of VHSs, right? And I love them because right next to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was Porky's 2 the next day. You know,
wow.
So it's like they,
from like a colors and design standpoint, those 2 covers would actually look pretty decent next to each other on a shelf.
They work. But grandma, this was one of the videos. I remember going over to Grandma and Grandpa's and watching Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which had, if you watched last week's show, had the great short film. I believe it was it Tummy Trouble? The Roger Rabbit Tummy Trouble was the one that was on.
Yeah, I forget which one was which. Yeah. The roller coaster one was Dick Tracy, though. I rember that one.
Yeah, it was the Tummy Trouble.
So it's Tummy Trouble.
Yeah, it was. That's right.
So that was so I remember watching Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and then I remember going to the theater to watch Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Okay.
So I actually saw that in the theater. I remember that.
Well, I will get to my first time watching Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in a sec, but I do want to see what's going on in the live chat first. Let's see who's there today. I see Buddy R, Joanne Bullimore, Monica Thyman, Alex Bonafonte, Kyle Camper as well, Sean Gold of Gold's Code, Dustin Nino of Retrofiend Radio. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Some laughing at the glasses and stuff. Let's see. Gold's Code says, Ian, I owe you an apology. I watched Airborne today and it wasn't as good as I remember.
Thank God.
It was better, he said. Take that. I knew it. That's all that it was.
What the 5 fingers say to the face?
Oh, fucking baited you in, sir. Fished in.
It's like
Code says
literally
Mickey has a hate story and something got shrunk. Alex Bonafonte says I look like if Sarah Connor was hiding in Club Med. I actually kind of take that as a compliment as well. Thank you, and well done, sir. Very well done, I gotta say.
The movie Club Med.
He also says splitting hairs kind of sucks, but yes, mostly home runs from Moranis. Splitting hairs is not one I'm familiar with. So
that's what him and Eric Idle. They're twins, but they're not twins.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that movie.
You guys ever saw Splitting Hairs?
No,
I never
seen
that. That was an HBO.
Maybe a little bit.
An HBO. They showed that on HBO all the time.
Really?
Because again, during the early morning, we got to show good movie, like kid friendly movies. And then Splitting Hairs was on there a lot.
So also some love from our buddy Dustin Nino of Retrofiend Radio, again, makers of the finest canon and martial arts docs on the internet. Some love for Big Bully from him as well. So you're a little bit validated in your choice there,
Big
Ian.
Bully.
Also,
Arnold,
new name in the
Everett
chat.
Moranis.
I see Stephen Pattinson says, how are you? My favorite Disney movie of all time is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Well, man, you came to the right place tonight, Stephen. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to talk about how much we love this franchise for about another 20 minutes, and then we're going to pitch crazy ideas for sequels and how to bring it back. If you've never watched, that's the show. In the meantime, enjoy the chat and let us know how you discovered Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. But how I discovered it, this was just a VHSer. This was one that my memories are like, I don't remember my awareness of it beforehand, if I saw trailers or anything. I feel like I would have wanted to see it in the theaters, but I definitely saw it on VHS. But then at the same time, I have this weird fragmented memory of seeing this in theaters, but being late and then seeing a Back to the Future 2 poster in the theater, the hallway, and being very excited about that. So I don't know, folks, I've, done some recreational, stuff in my life that's made the memories a little bit hazy. But so my earliest solid memories of this are just watching it on VHS over and over and over and over again. And it's one that like my older brother liked, my older sister liked, my cousin liked, like other neighborhood kids. The older kids were like okay with this one. It wasn't like it had something to offer for a couple of kid age. You could be as young as 3, but you could be as old as like 17 and still like it, unless you're Mickey and you just didn't like it for whatever. Why didn't you like this movie, Mickey? It's really
because he's a communist. That's why.
So I just rewatched the first two, and
okay,
like I just like the best way to describe it is like this is just so boring and cheesy. But like I don't know. I don't want to kill anybody's memories of childhood or whatever. In 89, I was about 14 or so. And
you were just too cool for school with this.
And I was just like,
give me Rat and give me fucking Warren and White Snake.
Yeah, this is like
not Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
This is like so lame to me. It was just like literally exactly. Everything was just so cheesy and so lame.
I will give you this. Kids. Joe Dante probably made the best commentary ever on Disney movies in his movie Matinee with the friendly shopping cart. You know, there is two different Disney. There's the animated Disney, and then there's the Disney that is just like the Nutty Professor, or the absent-minded professor. You know, the computer wore tennis shoes. I can see Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with Fred McMurray in it. You know, like in 1965. Like it could have been one of those movies. So I do get where Mickey's coming from.
Right. And it always seemed like, and it seems it's a movie that it just doesn't matter if you're watching it or not. You throw it in the background and it's there. So to me, it's like that doesn't make it a good movie. Like to me, it's like
it doesn't make it a bad movie either. Though,
if it's like literally like the color of the wall, you're just like whatever. Something about it annoys me. Like there's so many elements about this movie that it's just so cheesy.
But this is where I'll veer though. I don't think I would do that though, because what I loved about the movie was the special effects. This was a great special effects movie, and I think that's what captivated me as a kid. I mean,
especially at its time. Yeah, it was.
And it was like it succeeded where others had failed, like Flight of the Navigator and other movies tried to do this sort of thing. Space Camp, Explorers, My Science Project. None of them made money. This was if you
take that Disney time period too, where they were making these live action movies before they were like remaking their animated movies. So if you're taking like this movie, which was made how many years before like Flubber? You know what I mean?
8 years.
This looks like such a better like special effects achievement, like as a whole, like what they came out with. I'll give you that. That's absolutely true. You know, like
which is ironic because I've never seen Flubber, but I did see a breakdown of the VFX on it, and I think it was maybe a quarter digital video or something. And there is actually some revolutionary stuff in Flubber.
Right, but
there's special effects achievements, but that was the 90s. They were still like everything digital was so new, so like every film kind of stumbled onto like revolutionizing something, you know.
Like this movie was still using claymation, you know, with the ant and the scorpion. It was claymation.
Stop motion.
Stop motion. Yeah.
Or stop motion. I mean, was it Phil Tippett? Did he do?
Yeah.
It was Phil Tippett.
This is Joe Johnston too, who was a VFX guy at Lucasfilm. It's a very interesting story how he became a director, actually, because like, you know, I think he wanted to get out, and George Lucas is like, well, why don't you go to film school? He's like, why would I go to film school? He's like, well, because I'll pay for it, and then you could make movies. And it's like, okay, I guess. And then he did, and he came out and fucking made this, you know.
I disliked the poor man's Val Kilmer kid. The next door neighbor.
Get the fuck out of here. Russell? Are you kidding me? First of all,
Val Kilmer.
First of all, no. He's the fucking rich man's Val Kilmer.
The ant had more personality than that kid.
You got to say though, like as far as a kid cast goes, as most of them or whatever, it was pretty solid all around. The kid who plays Nick, pretty good. The sister,
he was like the only one. He was the only kid that was decent to me.
Mickey. Shut up. We all had a crush on Amy. Knock it off. Don't act like you didn't.
I didn't.
No.
I probably did.
What is this world?
I'll tell you what. You can't. I'll tell you this.
What?
Sorry, Ian. No.
Well, I was gonna say the other thing I love the most, like the most obscure trivia probably of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids that many people don't know, is Stuart Gordon, one of the masters of horror, the director of Reanimator and From Beyond, wrote Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. This was going to be a Stuart Gordon horror movie, And Disney's like, no.
I would have rather seen that movie.
That would have been good. I heard something about that too. In the original script, there was a fifth kid who died during the right.
Holy
shit!
Yeah.
Oh, when the lawnmower came on, and
I was either that
died.
or the sprinkler system. There was some scene in there after they're shrunk in the yard where he winds up dying. There was like a fifth kid, and they got that right the fuck out of there.
Yeah, because this was for Stuart Gordon, this was supposed to be a fantastic voyage journey to the center of the like it was supposed to be a big epic fantasy type movie, like where everything is dangerous, but obviously when Disney got a hold of it, they Disneyfied it, which is understandable in a way. So Disney basically made it an adventurous kids movie, and so Stuart Gordon was taken off the project, but also because a great film called Robot Jocks tanked at theaters.
Oh yeah,
that
makes sense. Robot Jocks is brilliant. Any movie with Danny Kamakona is brilliant, but especially Robot Jocks.
Do you guys know?
But it tanked. But it tanked.
Because they didn't fucking promote it right.
No.
Do you guys know what the original Disney title for this movie was going to be for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Teeny Weenies.
Oh my god.
Was the original title. Then they changed that. They were like, well, that's terrible. So then after that, for the longest time, until they came right before, I think the end of production or whatever, they came up with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It was going to be called The Big Backyard.
Wow. I remember reading that somewhere once, that it was once going to be called The Big Backyard, and I thought that was fucking dumb as hell.
I like Teeny Weenies.
Teeny Weenies would have been. I don't know what the hell they were thinking, but yeah.
That's a good poster. Teeny Weenies.
Sure.
I like it.
Yeah, should have named it Honey, I Shrunk the Kids 4, Teeny Weenies.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, the first one, first of all, I want to back up to what you were saying about Russell. Russell is awesome. And I just want to say that he also played fucking Joe Wardlow on 90210, the guy that gets Steve Sanders into street racing.
Correct.
So back that the fuck up. Just take it down a smidge.
Don't mess with this man.
Put some respect on that man's name.
I freaking love Beverly Hills 90210. But the kid is a bad actor. I'm just sorry. It's just like he
portrays the angst. If you were Matt Frewer's son and it was all about weights, football, and fishing, you would be a moody kid too. That's what I'm saying. I can relate to that guy.
Who's awesome in this is Matt Frewer.
Oh my god.
Is the best.
He's always awesome.
$80, May. Non-refundable. Those kids are grounded.
That's what's missing from the second. Well, all right. So the first one's like a beloved movie.
They should have had Matt Frewer in Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
That's what that movie was missing.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why.
Like my whole thing is like, why did they move to Vegas? They never explained that.
Southern California, right? That's where they're.
They were in Fresno.
Okay.
And they moved to Vegas.
Was it Fresno? They implicitly stated Fresno.
So they could do the Vegas Strip. That was the whole.
Yeah, that's the whole reason.
It's Giant Baby Takes Vegas. That was, and something. I'll give them some credit for having the balls to pull that off, because they could have just done Let's Shrink Some Kids Again, as a sequel, which is totally what Hollywood was doing.
I mean, like they didn't go too far. They blew up.
They did. They never.
They blew up the baby. He's literally in Las Vegas. Like they went as big as you could go with it. It took some bravado to do that, and it's all pre-digital for the most part. A lot of forced perspective and just optical compositing. And like there's a few shots that are pretty wonky, but for the most part, it works as a special effects film as well. However, it doesn't have any of that heartwarming stuff. It doesn't like have a plot that just moves, as sharply and as swiftly as the first film.
Oddly enough, I prefer the second over the first.
Is that right?
I like the second a lot. It's one of those movies that like I can see through adult eyes now that it's not as good as I thought it was when I was a kid, but there's still something I just enjoy about it. It's just like a very nice nostalgic memory. It's fun. It's a great look at forced perspective. You know what I mean? My brain likes to, kind of go nuts a little bit, picking apart how they do this shot, how they do that shot. Oh, that's just a giant guy, any shot from him from behind, it's just a guy in giant fucking, clothes. But yeah, it's not quite as good as the first one, but it's got all these weird things. Like you got like Felicity before there was a Felicity.
Exactly.
Like
Carrie Russell. You had
And,
Lloyd Bridges. Lloyd Bridges was awesome in this.
Oh, Lloyd Bridges is great.
And they did that.
Got fucking Ron Canada from Die Hard.
Yeah.
The fucking great shitty villain who just don't recognize, but that's Hans Bubby.
Yep.
That's who that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. And he was in Mr. Destiny around this time too.
You got Bill Moseley's in it.
Bill Moseley.
Yeah, he was in the one of the not the cops, but he was like he takes the kids and the baby like as a part of the
Yeah.
And he goes to Carrie Russell. If I wanted your opinion, I'd ask for it.
Oh man! Speaking of cops, Chris, every time I look at you, I feel like I'm being pulled over by the most flamboyant state trooper on this podcast.
I do not respect your authority.
But you still envy my attire. What can I say?
I do.
So I don't know. What do you guys think?
You are the living epitome of like what a bad Coke night is. Like that
is. But then the glasses would be like this. Like
I'll tell you something, man.
Say no to drugs.
Well, fucking A. Don't wake up with mystery black eyes. That maybe I had a Coke night and I don't even know. Maybe I fell off the wagon. I haven't had any Coca-Cola in years.
It could very well have been you fell asleep with your phone in your hand and it was up above.
Oh,
your eyes.
I guess that's possible. Yeah, my phone is fucking big.
Do we even need to discuss Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves?
We do.
I never even. You know what? Honestly,
bit.
I never even wanted to watch it. I was
gonna ask.
The correct instinct.
It's not bad.
Well, you fucking bad. Steve showed it to me when we were in like 6th or 7th grade, like, or whatever it was.
So.
Like,
I don't.
Yes, I remember watching it in your parents' basement in fucking Barrington, Illinois. And it was like I was like we were both suffering through it. Like, we're like, just like fucking picking at our shoelaces and shit watching this movie.
Well, it is canon, so I guess what's how is it, Ian?
That was the only movie I think like we said earlier, if there was a bad Rick Moranis movie, that would be at the top of my list. I think this was one of those. He was getting to that point where he was wanting to just kind of be out of Hollywood. And if I remember,
what year was that one?
This was like 90. Yeah, it was like, and it was straight to video. This was Disney straight to video. Okay. It wasn't in theaters. It was
directed by Dean Cundy.
Was that really? Was that?
That's right. We've always wondered what happened to Dean Cundy. I look at his IMDb, and right around the time of him directing Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, it seems to be he starts moving down in quality for the most part on things. Like, to be fair, he's kind of got to come back because he shot a couple episodes of the Book of Boba Fett. So that's like a huge Disney show. So maybe he's getting back in a good grade. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy, he's got friends in good places there. But it seems to be
great
not
beard
long after. Yeah, a great beard. And just the guy, the man literally shot like your
There's
childhood.
Something you should put on your resume. What have you shot lately? I don't know, but I got a great beard.
Hey, watch him. I dare you, Mickey, to watch him in some making of features. You will not stop looking at his beard.
It's a very good beard. It's like him and George Michaels. They got the great beards.
George Michael has got a great
beard.
Did
anyone else come back for that movie besides Rick Moranis?
No, they recast even the wife. They got Rick Moranis. They couldn't even get the original wife back.
After the second one, I think she had the good sense of like, what? No,
she had that like.
I remember seeing it.
She passed away though.
It was a contractual.
Oh no way!
Contractual thing.
Yeah, she passed away in 2014, I believe.
Oh, that's awful. Marcia Strassman.
Yep.
But I think Rick Moranis did that. It was a contract thing. Like he had to make Disney a movie, or else he'd have to pay out.
Okay.
So I think that's what I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong on that. But
was Little Giants?
That would make sense. It was.
No, Little Giants was Warner Brothers.
Was it? Yeah. I thought it was a Disney. What am I thinking of? The Big Green?
Big Green was Disney.
The Big Green with Steve Gutenberg. The Goot.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
Steve the Goat Gutenberg. But
I stand by this. The 90s was the best era for kids live action movies. Like it was a golden era. It really was. Yeah. Little Rascals, Dennis the Menace, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Honey, I Blew Up
Home
the
Alone,
Kids,
Rookie of the Year,
Little
Richie
Giants,
Rich.
Home Alone, Richie Rich. All those, yeah, it was. You know, if 75 to 85 for sci-fi was like the decade, like the 90s for kids entertainment, that was, you know,
And then
Nickelodeon, like it was everything in the
and
90s.
there's where, like, you know, some things, and then, like, you know, like I was getting older in the 90s, so like some of those movies were just like no, I'm past that. So like, but there's certain movies that, like, you know, like Rookie of the Year, Little Giants, stuff like that I was like, these are great movies. But like some of this stuff, like the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and everything else like that, I was like,
You
like
know where I think the first film succeeds that the others did not. I think it's pretty clear. Is like, at least because I was young enough, I was like 4 or 5, you know, watching the original Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It's an adventure that you really want to go on. And they knew that, and that's why they made it like a theme park attraction. And that's like one of those ones I never got to see, and I'm still fucking sore over it.
Was that
I don't think I've ever
audience?
I don't
Yeah,
think I've
I think,
ever
and they
wanted
put
to
you-
be shrunk. Or
It just
don't-
like, I mean, like you ride this friendly ant, you know, you go on this
No.
cool adventure.
No,
But you get to eat this giant oatmeal cream pie cookie. And let me just say,
I wouldn't have
That's
done it.
been on the
this
ground.
movie
I wouldn't
did
have done
for-
it. I don't
This
care.
movie did for oatmeal cream pies what E.T. did for Reese's Pieces. I'm just gonna say, because if it wasn't for this movie, no one would know what the fuck that is. But like, they're pretty gross, but I used to love them in the 90s.
It's
a cookie with, it's 2 cookies together with cream filling. You know,
Oreos are better.
Oreos are better, but
You know, that would have been a big campaign for Oreos to have had them.
They probably went to Oreo, and Oreo's like, we don't need this shit.
Tonight, Mickey
Yeah.
is just like, well, you know, the wind is healthy for the planet. No, it's blowing my hair. Like, you know, like, calm down. Like, jeez.
Well, let's talk about I Blew Up the Baby. You like that one better, right?
I like that one better. I don't know why. I just think that, like, you know, the cast
As
maybe
as far as sequels goes, it's pretty good. I
Yeah.
mean, like that.
it's a little bit like far fetched.
They went they went the opposite way. It wasn't the same old, like, it wasn't a retread of
Yeah.
like,
Now the kids are shrunken
was,
in the city. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, you know, they did do some really neat special effects, you know, for the film and kind of where it was going. So I mean, again, it was still a proving ground. So I don't think it was the worst sequel of all time. And great.
I like the kid in Vegas, like walking around, like, you know, stomping in Vegas.
Yeah, that shit's fun.
That's
there
is
is the problem is with the second film, the baby. There's like so much about it that just, like, from a logical standpoint, you just don't buy. Like, even as a kid, your bullshit detector's going off. Like,
well, I never bought the first one either.
Zelensky, but like Zelensky invented the shrinking ray. Why is he at this company where, like, everyone treats him like a fucking wet fart in church every time he walks into the room?
They didn't explain that.
Treat him like a janitor. They treat him like a pervert janitor. Like,
they didn't explain
they want
that.
nothing to do with him.
My biggest problem with the second one is that the entire crux of the whole plot is based off the fact that he's trying to make a ray to grow things in this lab. He already has that. He's already made it.
The first film proved
that.
Like,
the first film proved, and this one proves at the end of it when he blows up his wife with that same ray from the first one, so that she can hold the baby. He's already made this invention, and then they're sitting around a lab the entire time trying to figure out how to get a different version of that to work.
Yeah,
and he's already done it. So I don't know why.
It is definitely an Armageddon.
He needed to break the Coke
bottle.
He needed to break the Coke bottle.
That's the same thing as the first one. He needed to put the baseball in front of
baseball.
it. Yeah, like he figures out the same exact thing.
There's just so many logic things. Like, like, you know, he already has the machine. They set it up at the end of the first film. He used it to make this Thanksgiving turkey huge. He used it to make the dog bone huge. They do 2 gags.
That's right.
I forgot about that.
You know
I forgot about that shit.
Yeah, on top of that.
Class.
Yeah.
Right.
That's such a great fucking stupid wink at the end of a movie. I love it.
That is really good. That's great.
But apparently he didn't learn anything in French class, because he has Kerry Russell at the end of the movie in the car, and he doesn't take advantage of those French class lessons.
Well, those giant cops are watching them. It's fucking weird.
No,
how do
they're
they
not
not
watching
see?
him.
They're standing over them talking about how they're going to give him a minute, and they're 100 feet tall compared to them. And she's like, "Do you think they'll find us soon?" And they're standing right next to him.
Oh,
If she
yes,
looks
right.
left, she's going to see a 50-story person.
This is true.
She's
Yeah,
nearsighted, Steve. Boom.
She must be really fucking nearsighted.
I hope they paid her the overtime money that she did ask for.
Well, I hope
well,
so.
$2.50 an hour. You know, that's the funny.
Oh,
That's
that's
another
right.
stretch.
Yeah.
That's another stretch. Is even in $1990, she's going to all this trouble for $7.50. She's like, oh no, I'm gonna stay here with this giant baby. And like, there's also a really fucking poorly aged concept of like how he deals with it. He ties her up and gags her. Like, that is not a good look, bro. Like,
Twice he does it.
He does, yeah, you're right. He does it fucking twice. But you know, like I said, other than that, you know, and his heart is in the right place, obviously. It's not anything really nefarious, but like, man, they would not do that today. They would be wise enough to be like, ooh, let's not have him do this. Like,
now, dare I ask, did anybody ever watch the show?
Oh no, yeah, well, it had what was his Peter Scolari?
Peter Scolari and Rick Moranis.
Yeah. I like him.
I would watch a little bit of it, if, you know, if I'm waiting for like Growing Pains to come on the Disney Channel.
I watched like one episode and I don't even remember. I just remember.
How do you make this?
It was pretty harmless, you know.
Like how does this become?
It basically became invention.
Honey, I shrunk the kids again.
So yeah, it's like this episode is I created a petri dish monster and it took over the closet. This next week was we got to fix the car.
I made a sentient robot.
I really know how to fix the car and it blows up. You know, it's like it was kind of like a
sort of like Tool Time.
I can see why this didn't go too well.
There was a show. There was a show though. It was very similar. I actually thought they were going to get sued, but it used to be like, I don't know. I don't remember what the show was called. I just know Joe Flaherty was the dad. And he was like Dracula. It was like a Munsters type show, but he was an inventor and his wife was like,
oh, this is ringing some like weird Phantom memory bells. It's sort of ringing a weird bell. Yeah.
I wish I knew what it was. If anybody in our audience knows it, put it in the chat. Because I
have Joe Flaherty fans out there.
He was a vampire inventor. Father?
Well, no, I'm thinking of him, and I'm thinking him as dressed as Count, whatever from SCTV. But he was like an inventor as this family of this like, but it was like the Munsters approach. You know, it's like the whole family's weird, and they have like a pet fly or something. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, it was a very similar show where basically they took Zelensky and made him kind of the weird professor dad and. You know, he gets into weird, wacky adventures every week. It only lasts like one season, I think.
How long did you're a huge fan of this show?
How long did the Honey I Shrunk the Kids show?
I loved the first movie. That's why it's like every time I checked it out, I'm like, well, Honey I Shrunk Ourselves makes sense. But then, like, you know, Steve was saying, it's like there's no Matt Fuhrer, and you're like, it's just not the same. I mean, they got the guy.
Well, that's again one of those stretches in the second movie. It's like after like they seem to really bond with the Thompsons enough to have Thanksgiving dinner together. They're just gonna up and fucking move, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's
well, I guess he had to move for work, right? What kills me is that like in the beginning
they never explained it. They never
explained it. Tech Valley is Tech's like Silicon Valley, like that's
Fresno,
California.
Right? You're right there.
Yeah. Like
and the first one, him and his wife are pretty much on the verge of divorce in the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. The first thing the daughter says when she's unshrunk, "Are you and Dad okay?"
Yeah,
and then the second one, they've had a baby now, and I mean they got to be.
That was a reconciliation,
right? So I guess that's whatever, you know. And then
it's also
and nothing's changed. Nothing's changed at all. But now she seems completely fine with this arrangement, living in. You know what I mean? Like she's totally fine with him.
I mean,
still
to be
being
honest,
the exact same guy that he was at the beginning of that first movie.
To be honest,
now he's the guy who invented the shrink ray.
This
Let's
movie
just retitle
is
these movies
better
Terrible
if you.
Father.
Terrible Father.
This movie is better if you've never seen the first one. I mean, it's a standalone movie. It's like there's coincidental thing. There's like bits and pieces here and there, but like literally, like if you've watched the first one, and like I did, I rewatched the first one, and then I watched the second.
I know what it is, Mickey.
Now you're literally like, this movie makes no fucking sense.
I know what it is.
What is it?
Honey, I Shrunk the Kid is an epic theater movie. Honey, I Blew Up the Kid was a Disney TV movie before they were making Disney TV movies.
You're probably right.
They were
That
making
makes a
Disney
lot of
TV
sense,
movies
yeah.
back then.
I said this to you the
But
other
that's
day,
what it
Chris,
should have
right?
been.
Didn't
That's
I
what
said it's
they
yeah,
should
it
have
seemed like
premiered.
it seemed like a made for TV movie with really great effects. You know, after the
script wise, it's basically like a decent made for TV script. Like
it's not
the quality of the script's not there.
Yeah, it's not quite Human 3. Is really
but then
what
here's the thing.
Oh my god, yeah.
So here's
the
the
computer
thing.
wore tennis shoes.
But here's another thing about the second one that you're sitting there going like, you just have to suspend everything about anything that you see in the first one, because he's like, all right, you know what? They have my old machine in the storage. Let's go get it. But meanwhile, he talks about to Nick. He's like, remember, we didn't say anything about shrinking you guys. So if they didn't say anything about shrinking the kids, how the fuck do they know he has a shrink machine?
I guess he just hands it over.
I mean, he must have demonstrated
like,
it with fucking apples and couches or whatever the fuck.
And then
where's that movie? What? How did he get? This is Ghostbusters 2 all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Where they just start.
We gotta kind of put him in the same place so they can do the same things again.
Like, yeah, you're just starting them over and resetting from scratch, even though he's designed the most revolutionary.
It's the color forms of movie.
Right. Right.
Well, we are well past the half-hour point, so we should be pitching sequels by now.
No,
and there are.
I don't want a sequel. I don't want a sequel.
Mickey's like,
Mickey is out, folks. He's only here
good.
for the first half.
I'm good. You shrunk them. You blew them up. You shrunk yourselves. Done. That's it. There's nothing else you can do.
Well,
Honey, I Shrunk the Neighbors.
Well, you can always shrink the grandkids now, Mickey. I mean, come on.
I did think about this. If you were gonna do just a flat out remake, which I'll be honest,
no,
with the
I don't want a fucking remake of a shitty ass movie.
Okay, first off,
I don't want a remake of a fucking classic.
Hey,
so it's not gonna please anybody. So no remake.
Hey, Kochak, knock it off. Right? But if you were to remake it, all right, I do think Ed Helms would be a great Selinsky.
Get the fuck out of here.
Listen. He was
already on vacation.
I know.
Can we just stop getting him to massacre movie franchises, please?
I would buy
Can we
him
stop trying to make Ed Helms the leading man? He's not a leading man.
I'm just saying I could buy him floating in the background on the little thing. I can see him. But who would you have? Who's a nerd? I mean, everybody. The problem is everybody's a nerd nowadays. Like
I'd get the original Nick, and start with him, and I'd get Rick Moranis. I'd throw however much money it takes at Rick Moranis. Make sure the two of them come back, and then build out from there. I'd try and get Amy.
Can't have the
mom.
Another
thing. Another thing that's weird about
he wouldn't even do Ghostbusters. How is he gonna? You're not gonna get him to come out of retirement. He ain't gonna do it.
Especially after he did Honey, I Shrunk Ourselves.
Ghostbusters isn't his show, but Shrinking the Kids is like his fucking shtick. It's his brand. Apparently, he was considering it anyways, and they're doing like some Disney Plus show.
They were considering something on Disney with him doing it, and with Josh Gad playing Nick. Is what I
can buy Josh Gad. I can do Josh Gad.
I can see that.
I like Josh Gad.
I do too.
Who's that kid on The Boys that I said is like Pacey meets Joe McHale?
Oh, Meg Ryan and what's his name? Son.
That's who that is. That's fucking
Dennis
Quaid's kid.
Dennis Quaid. Yeah. He's a Quaid.
Oh wow, he's a Quaid, huh?
He's
that kid would be good.
Yeah, he could.
I mean, there's plenty of like nerdy-ish guys out there. Fucking
what
Adam
do you
Brody.
Want to do? What's the concept? What do you want to do? You want to shrink the neighbors? You want to shrink the grandkids? You want to?
I want to find a way.
More. You got the fucking machine.
I did. Okay, here was my idea. All right, but this is only because I'm a teacher. I actually thought it'd be interesting if you had a show and tell kind of thing happen, where it's not just 4 kids, it's like an entire class. So you got like 23 kids, 24 kids who get shrunk in like a backyard or at a museum or somewhere where it's just it's very multi-character.
You want like bushwhacked with shrinking, like essentially.
It's like the Magic School Bus.
Off,
you want Lord of the Flies meets Honey I Shrunk the Kids.
Yes, yes, that's good.
Now, all right, listen. I would watch the Conch, like them trying
the
to
Hunger Games meets Honey I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh my gosh! Can you imagine if you did a Lord of the Flies like with that would be actually kind of
I'm in
cool.
for that. That is cool.
And instead of worshiping the Lord of the Flies, this pig god, it's an ant head that he's worshiping.
It would be more entertaining than this movie.
Well, what if there's all kinds of people that are like shrinking themselves and like, we don't want to live in that world. You've like polluted it.
They made that movie. It's called Downsizing, and it's the worst piece of shit I've fucking ever seen. What's his name do?
Right. Yeah.
That movie was terrible. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway,
that's true.
But I don't know.
I will admit, this is a tough one. There are pitches in the chat though, so we should go to that.
Go to the pitches, because I'm telling you,
Mickey, stop it. You gotta try, Mickey. You gotta eat the vegetables.
You gotta try.
You gotta try.
You gotta try. You can't have any dessert if you can't have your pudding if you don't eat your meat.
Apparently, nobody tried. That's why we got 3 of these shitty ass movies.
I did.
All right. Well, let's go to the chat here. In the chat, it's Dustin Nino. My pitch: the kids and adults get shrunk to play a real-life D&D game on a huge war gaming table and have to blade down an exact replica of the Devil's Backbone. I like so much of that, especially in the second half. Yeah. You notice how they keep doing it to you, Ian? The more you protest, the more they're going to keep giving you airborne. Nice. That was a good. Gold's Code says roll a D9 and have the preps do 5 damage.
Nice.
Bonafonte, what if the preps were good guys? Nah. All right, Gold's Code. Big Russ, here's a pitch. Big Russ goes fishing, finally. Except he doesn't expect to run into the middle of a downhill race down Devil's Backbone. Now he must navigate the roads and inflators before fishing season ends.
This is the next Honey I Shrunk the Kids movie? That's great.
Yes, they're all rollerblading, you know.
Inflation has increased that $80 to like $280.
I'm just saying, this is the best audience on the fucking internet right now.
There is something you do just want on YouTube to be Matt Frewer and Russ just by
Snake. They shrink Snake.
And he's even faster now somehow. Yeah. Somehow Snake's even faster, and oh man, his tattoos are even more finely detailed.
And this time he's passing the finish line first, and as he's passing by, he grows bigger.
Ooh, I like it. Take my money.
Worst movie ever.
Best movie of all time.
Is there any more in the chat?
Let's see. There is one more actually. Gold's Code again has another one. Pitch: Nick must design a new form of rollerblades for Mitchell and the crew to give them advantage in the race. It's an in-between quote for both films, and it works.
What is wrong with you people?
And there's some love for Robot Wars over Robot Jocks, though. I gotta say that's not something I expected.
Who said Robot Wars over Robot Jocks?
Who said? I think it was Alex Bonafonte. Was it? Yeah.
Alex, fascinating. See, Robot Wars is literally cut up pieces of Robot Jocks mixed together with reshot footage to make a third movie out of the series. That's impressive. Right? Yep. They just
there you go.
Charles Band that loves reviews and stuff.
Match.
Love it.
Let's see if there's any more pitches in here.
There can't be. What can you do?
No, there is. Alex Bonafonte's got one. It says pitch miniseries. The nerdy Zelensky kid becomes a surgeon who shrinks to perform like in an inner space, while the daughter and neighbor kid become shrinking CIA agents. Wow, I actually fucking like that.
Can you Can you?
Damn, that's fucking great, Alex.
Can you do something where Nick has learned from French class and he decides that he's going to enlarge penises with the machine?
You just went real.
And he's going to be like a doctor.
I can't see Disney having a problem with this at all.
And he's going to be a doctor.
No. He's going to be a penis enlargement
enhancer.
Who
so
uses
now
this secret technology.
You take that reality show about the plastic surgeons.
Every time according to the technology of the second film, every time you get a text message, your dick's gonna get a little bit bigger, and that would be problematic. Eventually, that's gonna be problematic.
Not problematic if you keep your phone in your pants.
All right, so let's
That's where your
do
dick
this.
is.
If
At
it's
the-
in the
at the
room,
time-
if
at
it's in
the-
the room with you,
At the time when you needed it most.
All right, I
Right.
got an idea. We're not going to remake a movie, but I got the greatest cameo ever.
okay.
We got the new Ant-Man movie coming out, right? The creator of that technology is Wayne Selinsky, who created the Ant-Man suit.
So we just tie it into the MCU.
Yep, tie him in there. Bring back Rick
So-
Moranis, and that's the cameo in the new Ant-Man
Disney
movie.
does own the whole fucking casino, so
They own
I
it.
mean,
They own
could-
it. Like
So-
literally.
You know,
That's true. They do.
Mm.
That's true.
Why
That's how
did
they
you just
created the
have
Ant-Man
why did you just
technology.
have Rick Moranis make a cameo in the Ant-Man movie? Like he's in the quantum realm. You know,
That's what I
chill.
just.
That would be
That's what I
fucking
just said, Mickey.
That would be pretty great if he was in the quantum realm working on a
Yeah.
machine. Yeah.
That's what
Like
I just said. Yeah, that's
yeah,
what I'm
that
saying.
is
I-
that is great. That's
just
great.
tinkering
Ian.
on
like
I like
Mars,
that.
yeah.
It connects the two,
It does.
and to be honest, you're not.
It may have been your
like,
idea. I just made it better.
I don't.
First
I like
off-
the idea that there's
Secondly,
things that we haven't explored yet in this universe that could be like fun. And again, like I think Alex Belafonte was really onto something, making Russ and Amy CIA agents, and then Nick's like a surgeon or something like that.
You should have Alex Belafonte on this show.
Oh, we should.
Yeah,
Alex,
in
come
my
on,
in my
anytime, bud.
place, he is good at this.
We're
But-
not bringing that dude. That
This
kid
is an
back, though,
impossible
right?
franchise to bring back. It's really hard.
That dude's not
Mickey's-
coming back, right?
but to be
What?
honest, you are right.
Nick,
though.
Russ?
Nick will come back.
Russ?
Oh, Russ will come back. He's still working.
You don't
Is
want
he?
to make. No, I don't want that dude.
Oh, get the
No.
fuck out of here, bro! Like,
Call him and
get
tell
out.
him.
Yeah.
No.
I'll let him know. I'm like, bro.
Get him
Did
on the
this
phone.
dude slash your tires or
hard-
something? Like,
no
I've never
hard
seen Mickey
feelings.
protest an actor so much.
No hard
Like,
feelings, but I just thought like your performance was like not good.
Hard.
I just want to say I want to put some fucking respect on Russ's name here.
Or,
It's
actually, you
Thomas
know-
Wilson Brown.
You know who he
and
reminds me
I
of?
connected with Russ. That's my
The kid from
throughway
Real
into the movie.
Genius, the other kid from Real Genius, the nerd kid. That's
The
who
one
he
who gets
reminded
punched
me
in
of.
Karate Kid 3?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can
that's
see
who
that
he
a little
reminded
bit.
me of. Are they brothers?
I don't know. I
Get him on the phone.
get him, yeah, get him on fucking speed dial.
Mom, I want to come. You rented my room to
I want to come
I want to come
home.
home. I want to come home. Well, you
But I
can't,
think there
bitch.
could be some interesting things. Like, say, you go with a pitch like Alex Belafonte's, right? And there's CIA agents who obviously spend most of their time like shrunken. Like, that could create some interesting things. And if you really break down the science of it, like we were talking this before, if you were really a quarter of an inch tall, you would be speaking at such a high frequency that would be above the range of, what human ears can hear. Like, I guess the dog maybe could have heard them, but the sound waves would have been so small and they probably wouldn't have traveled that far to the dog, It'd be like yelling at your dog like from a mile away. They're not going to hear it,
Yeah.
Essentially,
That
if
kid
these
was in
Ant-Man-
Urban Justice too.
Was he? If these
Urban
Ant-Man
Justice with
movies,
Steven Seagal.
if these Ant-Man
Quality
movies
flick.
weren't made, then this could be a great.
But
a great,
I honestly,
Yeah,
like you
got
could
a point
really
there.
do, or if you do like literally an Ant-Man movie in the Honey I Shrunk
In
the
this
Kids world, like,
world,
yeah, I really think that would actually be kind of interesting. Like, you got Ant-Man he can't big himself. I don't really watch the movies. I don't know how it works, but like his technology dies, so he's just small in a backyard.
Do elaborate then.
He goes, I want to be big, and he puts a quarter in Zoltar, and he
right.
big, all right, like that's how
You
it
nailed
happens,
it. Yeah, that's how it works.
But like, but he gets in this world, and there's and it's to be honest, like, it's not just a backyard. Like, what if it's in a zoo or something, or it's all these bigger animals that he has
How
to
I
deal with
Shrunk
or
the
something.
Animals.
That's how I would like if this movie was going to be made. It would have to go full-fledged on all the other crazy shit that would be coming at you if you were this big. Like, it has to be just like a crazy amount of
jungle
like
now, yeah, like an actual
animals
jungle.
and like crazy weird shit that you wouldn't expect. You know what I mean? Like things that are interesting to run into if you're going to be that small. You know what I mean? Like you have to.
You know what
mean,
it also reminds me
Okay, what
of?
about Honey? What about Honey I Shrunk the Safari? Right, you have a bunch of fucking rich assholes
People
going
on
out
safari.
trophy hunting, and someone to get them back just shrinks them down,
What
and they
about
await their doom. It's a death game.
what about
So
Inner
literally,
Space?
you want you
No
literally
escape.
want You literally want the most dangerous game and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids mixed together.
See, the problem with that,
Boom.
Chris, is that all those things in a safari are way too big already.
Yeah.
You want like a rat would be good to have in the thing, not a lion. That's just going to be a giant lion, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And again, you are just doing the like, oh, now they're in New York City,
Right. Yeah.
Now they're shrunk in the city,
I'd like to see like a not like a post-apocalypse, like a I'd like to see like a shrinks an entire city's worth of people down, kind of got like a, I don't know, like half the town has been like shrunk, half the shit in the town has been shrunk.
What if
All
you
Like the
just
thing
had,
just goes
that-
haywire.
that-
It makes some things huge. It
That
makes some
will
things
turn
shrink.
cannibal. You know that
Yeah.
somewhere there will be a cannibal.
what
yeah.
if you get
Oh,
what if you get
aliens
Joe,
have
what-
Zelensky type of technology and they're attacking Earth by making things shrink and grow. Only one family of nerds can save us. That's the Zelenskys.
What if
And
you got-
They take up like fucking Ghostbusters to the cause and kick
what
ass.
if you got Joe Dante to produce or to direct the movie and write the movie? It's like a sequel to Inner Space and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And instead of Dennis
That's what Alex
Quaid,
pitched.
yeah, just Dennis Quaid or whatever like that, going into the body of Martin Short, he's going into the body of Rick Moranis.
Ooh.
Because Rick Moranis has like this like disease or whatever like that. And he's like, oh, let me get this guy, shrink him down and get in my body and figure this shit out.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so
that's
yeah,
Fantastic Voyage.
Mm.
Well,
yes, I don't
Which
know. It's
is
sort
a
of
Disney-
interesting though.
No,
The whole
but
point. I
no,
like the idea that the
but
kids
it's
have
Fox.
to shrink.
It's Fox.
I like the idea that the
So-
kids have to shrink to
Oh,
save
yeah.
their dad. That's kind of cool. I like that idea.
Yeah,
oh,
I mean,
Disney owns
actually-
Fox, though.
Yeah,
That's true.
Disney owned Fox, so they own Fantastic Voyage. It could work. You could do a modern. The key to it is Rick Moranis doesn't even have to be quote unquote Zelensky, but he's
Mm-hmm.
he just has to be Rick Moranis, really,
Zelensky.
as
Yeah.
somebody who's. I think it'd be
Well-
great if like a little, you do a funny little thing where you see his name tag, it says Zelensky or something, But like having Rick Moranis as the scientist would just be perfect in a Disney environment. Would be perfect.
As opposed to, I mean,
Yeah, what are you
I'm
saying?
confused. Yeah, what are you saying?
Are you saying
Well,
that
you
Rick
were saying-
Moranis
you want
would
him
be
to
good in this
be-
movie?
Well, I'm just saying if you're doing Mickey's idea where it's basically Fantastic Voyage,
Oh,
a remake
okay.
of Fantastic Voyage,
Right.
it doesn't matter as long as you have Rick Moranis as the scientist role. It kind of becomes a sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It really does.
Right.
True.
Well, there are.
You'd
more
have to
bitches
call
in-
it Honey, I Did Something if we're pitching ideas for a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Well,
Gotta be
if you,
Honey,
if
I,
you made,
Honey, I
if you
Did
made,
Something.
if you put Nick involved in it, like Honey, I Saved My Dad.
Yeah.
and
Nick's great, right? We all
I
agree
like
on that. Like Nick is great
Yeah.
in both
Oh, it
movies.
should be
There's
Nick.
he's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
We keep
yeah.
Nick. We don't need the daughter. We don't need
Oh,
Russ.
come on! I think that's
So
part
did
of what
Blew Up the
made-
Kids. Blew Up the Kids fucking kicked the daughter right the fuck out
You
of there.
didn't need the daughter. The
Like,
daughter was
I think
scene
they
never.
one.
do.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think they do need
You
the
didn't
daughter.
see her back in Honey, I Shrunk Ourselves either, right?
I don't remember.
I don't
No.
know either.
There you go.
I mean, they
Exactly.
recast
You didn't need
everybody
her.
else.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because like that's the fucking measuring stick. Like, honey, we shrunk ourselves. Clearly,
You
a
didn't
big
see
success
Russ
without
again?
the daughter.
And the
Apparently,
no.
he did such a stellar job in the first one. They're like, nah, we don't need that kid.
By that metric, we don't need Jim Carrey in The Mask or Ace Ventura because there were cartoon shows without him.
There was also
And
Jamie
yet
Kennedy.
there's the mask. Yeah,
That's
yet
di-
there's
that's
the mask.
different.
Yeah,
and
because
Son of
Jamie
Mask.
Kennedy did a fine job. We don't need this Jim Carrey
But
guy.
that's
Jamie
different.
Kennedy,
Those are
Jim Carrey.
cartoons. Those
Yeah.
are cartoons.
Right.
Tomato.
Tomato, yeah.
Um,
They're like the same guy.
There is another pitch in the chat, and it comes courtesy of Sean Gold of Gold's Code. Pitch:
Here
shrink the
we
preps
go.
and Mitchell's crew and have them race through a micro machine playset. Ooh, that's actually pretty dope. Mickey, plenty of
Dude.
people can say the same about your performance. I don't know what that's in reference to. Mitchell from Real Genius, Mitch. I don't know. That sort of went over my head at the end there. But Gold Skull says, "Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in the Hall," which is actually something I would watch. I'd watch
I
anything
would
with Kids in the Hall.
I would watch anything with Scott Thompson.
Anything.
Same.
I'd say the same about Dave Foley. I'd say the same about Kevin McDonald. I'd say the same about Bruce McCullough. Like Mark McKinney, they're all fucking geniuses. God, we got to do Brain Candy, VCR Redux.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's
my
a good
gosh.
one.
That is a good one. But I don't know, I mean, we're sort of like in the neighborhood, the ballpark of it. I don't know if we're like really hooked at home, in terms of like how to bring this back. It's really tough, Rick Moranis is like pretty steadfast against resuming acting.
Yeah.
So you'd have to write something in a way that's like really tempting for him. It's like had to be really kind of like heartwarming and stuff. And like again, I think the best idea is somehow the kids have to shrink or they have to do something in order to save their dad, like for whatever reason.
Yeah.
He could be a narrator.
That feels right. Yeah.
He could be a narrator.
Yeah.
He can narrate the movie for the first, couple, parts or whatever like that, and then at the end, you might see like a little cameo of him.
Yeah,
he'd be such a horrible narrator.
Maybe like years ago, Zelensky disappeared, and their kids finally figured it out that he shrunk himself, and he's like stuck somewhere.
Oh yeah,
that, like they can't find him, so they like Nick invents.
Honey, I found our dad.
Nick invents like some type of thing that can sort of traverse like the quantum realm a little bit faster, so they're not like traveling at slow speed. They have like full speed in mini size. And that could create like more interesting visual effects as well.
Just make Rick Moranis the most evil Marvel villain ever. He doesn't have to be, it's just he's Rick Moranis. Like that's it.
I would have never thought about that. But I think that would be cool. The kids got to shrink themselves, and maybe their grandkids somehow follow them in, because it is like a kid's adventure. The kids are grown ass adults by now, so somehow their grandkids get shrunk too. And they got to save their dad and their, whatever. Or maybe Rick and the grandkids get shrunk and they have, whatever. But I think that's basically.
Yeah, like Rick's babysitting the grandkids.
And they all get shrunk. Yeah.
And his machine's there. And one of the grandkids accidentally sets the machine off. Do that whole thing.
And then, Nick and Amy.
It would work.
And Amy's married to Russ now, so you can get fucking Joe Wardlow back. And
Mickey
can shit his pants off. But yeah, I mean, I think generally that's the broad strokes of a pretty
only
decent,
if he brought Steve Sanders with him.
Oh fuck yeah, Steve Sanders is back, son of Samantha Sanders of the Hartley house, with his fucking Corvette. It's gold, absolutely gold. Honey, I shrunk the spelling verse.
Then I will watch that kid again.
Boom. There you go. Honey, I shrunk Andrea. I shrunk Andrea's advanced age down to a teenage size from 31.
They went to like the high school reunion, and all of a sudden, like they all get shrunk.
I shrunk David Silver, so it's just a mini David Silver doing those dance moves.
Oh, that would be so awesome. My throat. Be so
little David Silver saying "squash it." All right, enough.
There would be like a big old pound of like cocaine, and they would be like, all going into the cocaine, like yes,
just a little self-righteous, just a little mini self-righteous Brandon Walsh saying steroids are a serious business. I know that was Steve Sanders. But all right, enough now 2-0 references. Before we wrap it up, is there anything you guys have got coming up you want to let people know about? Recordings, music videos, articles, where to follow you on social.
Sure. Like you said before, we just released a music video for an upcoming album. It's released in March. That'll be everywhere. The name of the song is Your Name Here. It's on YouTube. You can go to crashromeo.com and check that out.
Hell yes. We're very excited about this. Mickey, are you getting any closer to tunes coming out, or Ian articles coming out?
I think like sometime, looks like maybe springtime. Yeah, March time, April.
All right. Well,
we'll have something out there.
We'll definitely circle some time on our calendars around then. Ian, articles, anything coming out?
Well, I did just have it'll be appearing sometime soon, but a company, creepypastastories.com, posted a short horror story that I just wrote. So that'll be published, and they will potentially be doing an audio adaptation of the short stories. Dude. So nice. Thank you.
That's awesome.
So I will let our audience know when it does appear, so you can enjoy a creepy story.
So I'm stoked for that. That's great.
I hope you get like an obscure celebrity to fucking do the book on tape thing. Like someone just a little bit outside the norm would be great.
I did. Speaking of Rick Moranis, no, I'm just joking.
No. I mean, like get like Adrian Zemed. Like then I'd really be impressed. Fucking that would rule.
I won't get anything with Adrian Zemed unless he's singing that song from Bachelor Party.
Yes.
I'm a hero. Da, 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 da. That's all.
Oh my God. Another one. We need the VCR treatment on Bachelor Party. There was a shitty sequel, actually, somehow.
I don't remember. There was a sequel to Bachelor Party?
It's a direct-to-video turd that no one
terrible.
watched.
Yeah, it's gotta be. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll come up with something much better.
There wasn't a sequel to Bachelor Party.
All right. Well, you Fandom fans might want to come back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. when we finally get you to the Greco for our If Looks Could Kill Us episode. As always, if you enjoyed this video, the best way to help is to smash that like button and leave a comment telling us what movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover in a future episode of VCR Redux.
Stay away from that episode. Nobody watched it when it came out. Nobody's going to watch it now.
And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Crash Romeo, Fandom Spotlight, the Howling Network, and Pop Culture Punk.
It's never happened ever. Just
okay, Grandpa.
give it up, world.
Let's get you your tea. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.
I'd rather watch Airborne than If Looks Could Kill.
Well, then you would be very well off, too.